ever forget.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jared Gallant, and this is the Young Hustlers podcast here on the Cardone Zone, where every week I come teach you how to get from the young hustle to the mature hustle, and by that I mean make some money. So this show is about sales, it's about the come up, it's about the grind, it's about the hustle, and every week we come and we try to give you some tips to direct you on the path. I'm 35 years old. It wasn't so long ago. I just posted on Instagram today. It wasn't so long ago that I was, broke, sleeping on an air mattress. And, it's a good reminder to look back and know, hey, man, I was broke. I didn't have anything. I was trying to figure everything out. And I think a lot of folks, no matter what your age is, you're trying to close it. You're trying to, better? Okay. You're just trying to figure everything out, right? So nobody gives you a handbook and they're like, hey, if you want to be successful, all you got to do is these three things, like the whole picture of how you blow up and get big and, make a bunch of money and live the life you want. Like it's not a 1, 2, 3 process. There's a lot of things that go into it. And, for me, I learned that over a period of 8 years now working for Grant. And, the purpose of this show really is to come and try to take little bite-sized chunks of this big, long thing called your path to success and breaking it down into shorter little bite-sized chunks so that you could focus on the thing that's in front of you and work on that and develop that and improve that so that you can, move on down the path. So that's what the show's about today. It's about how you can be more focused. Focus is it can be a challenging thing. There's a lot of distractions. I talked to my man Sean Connor this morning. Lots of distractions in the space. Things that are very tempting and things that are very pleasurable and very distracting. And so if you want to grow and you want to go down the path towards success, you've got to be able to identify these distractions and get rid of them, and you've got to remain focused on the thing that you're trying to do. So I know coming up, there were a lot of distractions for me. I'll cover some of those. But the thing that always grounded me was I was able to focus in on how to move myself out of the situation I was in. So if you're in a situation you don't like right now, if you're frustrated with where you're at, if you feel like you're doing the right things but not getting anywhere, then hopefully the show can give you a little bit more guidance and push you along the way. If you have questions, go ahead and give a call to 305-865-8668. My girl Natalie's on the phones, 305-865-8668. We're talking today about how you can be more focused. Thank you. So step number 1. It's impossible to be focused unless you have a clearly defined goal, target, or purpose. This is one of the things, if you were going to write a handbook on this is exactly how you become massively successful, the very first thing would be you've got to figure out where you want to go. You've got to figure out what your goals are. You've got to figure out what gets you excited. You got to figure out when I'm 60, where do I want to be? What do I want my life to look like? What type of life do I want to have lived? And I've got some friends that, they're all about experiences. Their life is a life, in their mind, their ideal life is a life that is full of experiences. And they're willing to make sacrifices today in order to have those experiences. They spend their money on travel and going places and not on packing money away into the real estate investment fund so that they have passive income. Like, they're just two separate tracks. And like, you're not wrong. Like, if you choose one path rather than the other, you're not wrong. That's just your path. But the point is that you need to be focused on something. You need to have a clear direction that you're moving down. Because otherwise, you're going to be like wandering around with like dispersed action. You know, one of the things that we know for sure here in our office is when we have a single focus and we're pushing on one thing, we're extremely powerful and we're extremely efficient. But when there isn't a real clear focus and we're not pushing all of our energy and attention into one thing, it starts dispersing the action and we start becoming a little like lost in the headlights. And so it's so important that you have focus on your goal and the target that you want to accomplish. You can't be focused. Like, you will be lost. You will be aimless. You will be like wandering around going, what am I doing with my life? If you don't have something that you're moving towards. One of the hardest things is just actually figuring out what that is. You know, people say, do something you love. I remember people like, hey man, you should get a job doing something you love. And I'm like, well, dude, what do I love doing? I don't even know. I'm like, I guess I like playing golf, but I don't think I'm going to become a pro golfer. Like, how real is that, you know? I like listening to music. Maybe I'll become a, you know, like it's hard. And so you have to figure out, like, what is that place that you want to end up in? And this is the first thing that I did. I was like, where do I want to end up? When I'm 40 or 50 or 60, like, where do I want to be? And when I look back, am I going to be like, man, I did this the right way? And so for me, I want to be at a point where I have complete and total financial freedom. Like, I don't want to worry about money. Like, when I get to 40 years old, like I'm 35 now, at 40 years old, I want to be completely financially free. At 40, I want to have $100,000 a month in passive income. That's my goal. Because if you have that kind of money, like, you've developed, you've created a flywheel that just will continue to go. I mean, $100,000 a month in passive income. You're in the low tax bracket because it's passive income. You're probably going to keep 70 or 80 grand a month or something like that. Like, if you live off 20 grand a month, you're spending a lot of money. And that still gives you 60 grand a month to like reinvest in things. So it creates this flywheel and this momentum that just can't be stopped. So for me, that's one of my primary goals. So the actions that I take early on are all, how do I get to that point faster? And so for the last 8 years that I've been with Grant, my focus has been, hey, how do I increase my income? How do I increase my skill? How do I do the things that are going to allow me to go produce in quantities and volumes great enough to get my income up high enough to where I can start packing money away and making these investments that get me closer to my target of $100K a month in passive income. Like, that's where I want to be. So I'm focused on that. Like, I'm not like, hey, I want to go and travel and do all this stuff. I make plenty of money. I could do all that if I wanted to, but it's a distraction from the target. It's a distraction from the thing that I want. So I got to make sacrifices. I got to remove things. I got to eliminate things. I got to do all that. When we get back, I'm going to talk to you about distractions, how to identify them, and what to do with them. This is the Young Hustlers Podcast.
Always replaced by anything just above that. So give up on the average thing, man. It don't work.
Wealth Dynamics believes everyone has the God-given right to own their potential. Most of us don't because we spend 40 hours per week serving the 40-year-to-life sentence, trading our precious time for worthless paper called money. We live on an economic planet and time and money do need to be exchanged, but it doesn't need to be your time or your money. We teach our clients to secure income producing assets that make the time and money exchange for you so you can buy your freedom back and live a life of abundance and prosperity. To get there, we must know how to make money, how to keep it, and how to multiply multiply it. Wealth Dynamics provides coaching, education, accountability, and community to help you build wealth. Join our coaching program, get educated on Wealth Dynamics University, and begin networking with the Wealth Dynamics Mastermind Group today. To get started, go to wealthdynamics.com. Introducing the fastest growing e-commerce platform in fitness, gymfoodstore.com. Brought to you by Harvard-trained MD entrepreneur and specialist in rehabilitation and regenerative medicine, David Carley, along with Zoe Bedford, experience in distribution and product development. Gym Food Store is your online marketplace for nutrition and sport supplementation. We give you access to the most effective products and nutrition, all while providing expert reviews and user education. Gym Food Store is here to help you identify and validate product selection so that you are not wasting money or time on products that are simply subpar. Learn more at gymfoodstore.com. That's gymfoodstore.com right now.
We build you a ClickFunnels. We send you traffic. We will collect leads for you. Everything we build, you keep. Work with us month to month or have someone manage your campaigns internally. No contract. This includes one ClickFunnels built out for you, plus Google AdWords campaigns that have 5 times higher returns than social media advertising. 10x Productions.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back, Young Hustlers, here on the Cardone Zone. Today we're talking about how to be more focused. Being unfocused will kill you. It will kill your productivity. It will kill your momentum. And it can be the most frustrating thing in the world because you just won't get anything done. And so if you feel like you're not getting anything done, I put this together specifically for you. If you're not getting further ahead and you feel like you're working at a level that would have you much further down the path than you are. Could be because you're not focused. So number one thing, you cannot be focused unless you know where you're going. You've got to take the time to figure out what that means for you, what type of life you want to live, what type of job you're going to need in order to facilitate that. People talk about doing the thing you love. That's one route, but like the thing you love may not be the thing that gets you the life that you want. You know what I'm saying? So you need to figure that out. You need to make some decisions because a lot of folks end up doing things they don't like in order to have what they want out of life. And so you've got to make that decision. You've got to figure out what the end game is and then work your way backwards. I talk about this all the time because it's one of the most easy to do and effective ways to actually figure out like what's important to you. Because it's just like a nebulous kind of question. That's just like, what do you want to do with your life? What's your purpose? What do you want to accomplish? It can be a very tough question to answer. So figure out where you want to be at 60 or 50 or 40, what's your ideal scene, and then find out if there's a way to map it, reverse engineer it all the way back to what you can do today to start moving you down that path. And inevitably, once you make that decision and you figure out what it is you want and you start heading down that path, some things are going to happen. Distractions are going to come around. Things to try to derail you from your path to success, winning more and getting the life that you want. Now, distractions take all shapes, all sizes, all kinds. It could be something like going out with your friends. It could be something that's seemingly innocent as social media. It could be TV. It could be fantasy football. It could be Fortnite. I suppose that, I hear that's a big thing. People get paid to have people watch them play video game. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't understand it. But hey, look, good for them, right? Like they're making money playing video games. Cool, right? And for the guys out there, it could be women. That could be a big distraction. For ladies, it could be men. You're out there running around, doing your thing. Women can be a huge distraction for men. And likewise for women as well. Not, you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. So, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's your thing. I don't know. Whatever. But the sexual side of things. Napoleon Hill wrote about this in why am I blanking right now? Napoleon Hill. What book? Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. So dude, you got to start cutting things out, things that are going to distract you, things that will take you off course. And your ability to get further down the path is going to rely on your ability to make hard decisions and remove things. You can't add something without removing something. And if you want to add something good, it means you're probably going to have to remove something that's bad. And those can be tough decisions sometimes, you know? Your attraction for the ladies, dude, it could be, you know, women were built to be beautiful, right? And look good and pleasing to the eye and, you know, companionship and all that stuff. But like, dude, there comes a time, I was single for a long time because I was like, this is where I'm going to build the foundation of my empire. And like, I'm not going to have a girlfriend. Like I made a decision. I'm like, I'm not going to have a girlfriend because that will distract me. It provides some comfort. You have somebody that you know, they're living with you now. They're staying with you. You know, they want to hang out. They want to spend time together. Dude, when I was single, like I came home and I kept working. Like every single night when I left the office, I didn't have anybody that I was trying to leave the office early for. So I stayed as long as I needed to. When I got home, dude, I remember operating like I had homework every night. You remember back in school? And you're like, oh man, I hate this homework, like this stupid test. What's this grade gonna get me in this class? Ain't gonna do nothing. This homework's bullshit. Like, you remember that? Dude, I went home every night after work with homework. I gave myself homework, except the difference was the homework wasn't for a grade. The homework was for a check. So I was like committed. Like I was like planning my day out. I was trying to figure out what I could do better. I was emailing and texting clients until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Like I was freaking a maniac. And that is not possible, or it's not likely to be possible if you have a lot of distractions, whether it's a guy or a girl, whether it's TV, whether it's things that are not productive. Exercise is a good thing. Exercise, like going to the gym and exercising, that is a thing that actually allows you to be more productive, and it allows you to have a better attitude. It gets all these, you know, endorphins and stuff flowing through your body. It's a good thing. I always feel better if I exercise. If I'm not exercising, I feel like lethargic and slow. When I am exercising, I feel like I'm just charging. And you sleep better too. So number one thing is you have to clearly identify your targets, and then you got to look next at, dude, what are the distractions? What are the blocks? What are the things that are going to prevent me on my path? What are the things laying in the road that I need to like make the decision to remove? You got to remove the things that will block you from moving forward. And you got to be willing to make that choice. You know, if the goal is important enough, if the target is important enough, then the decision will be easier. It's not going to be easy, but if the goal is big enough, if the goal is exciting enough, and if you're committed to that, then it will be easier to remove those things. Number 3, the journey can seem really long. The path from where you're at right now. When I was sleeping on that air mattress, there's no way in my mind I'd be like I'm making $1 million a year wasn't even real to me. I couldn't even write that down as a goal because it was so far away from me. Like I thought 200 grand a year was ridiculous. I was literally writing down 250 grand a year, and I thought that was like ludicrous. So the road can seem so long, but what you have to do is you have to condition yourself to focus on the next thing, not everything. Like just focus on the next thing that you have to do, the next target. Like becoming a billionaire is a great target, but like if you're making 30 grand a year, becoming a billionaire is pretty far away. And if the only thing you're thinking of is billionaire, then you're not thinking with, I got to go through 500,000, $1 million, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, 5. Like you're skipping a lot. And so to be more focused, you have to like just, what is the next thing in front of me that will get me closer, that will advance me, that'll support my cause, that'll create some momentum, that'll give me some hope and reinforcement that I'm moving in the right direction. Focus on the next thing, not everything. When we get back, we're going to go some callers. This is Young Hustlers.
Automatons, or artificial beings capable of independent thought, have been a fixture of science fiction, literature, and motion pictures throughout time.
Today, the convergence of technology and imagination has reached new heights, which are reflected in the advancements that we see in every area of our lives. Over the last couple of years, AI machines have made their way into our homes, the battlefield, our work workplace, and even into our hands in the form of smartphones with voice recognition. Digital assistants for the home represent an opportunity if you know how to take advantage of them. That is where Nico's Computer Engineering comes in. Tim Clark brings you the latest news about the most up-to-date strategies to position yourself in the digital landscape, finding a path to productive business applications and how to automate them with artificial intelligence are just a few of the topics we cover in our weekly segments.
Nico's Computer Engineering is here to find a unique solution for you.
The more comfortable you get with yourself, the less scary it is for people to actually see you.
We all know as parents that there's nothing more powerful than a mother's love. And how can I be that extraordinary parent for my kids?
And how kind we are to each other.
The more that you love you, the less you care if others love you.
The idea is to really just choose to be with yourself. The challenges and the struggles and the frustrations and the self-doubt and insecurities can often keep us from living. We can master our lives from the inside out.
Based out of Jacksonville, Florida, this family-owned husband and wife team of realtors is there to serve you, track every process step by step, get you from contract into your new home or out of your current home sold and on the market. Chad and Sandy Newman will take you, market your home, and make sure that you will receive the best customer service ever. They're going to sell your property above market value in 30 days or less. With over 12 years of experience, this team is there for you. To learn more, go to chadandsandy.com. That's chadandsandy.com right now.
Always replaced by anything just above that. So give up on the average thing, man. It don't work.
Welcome back. This is Young Hustlers, where every week we come and give you tips and strategies you can use to get further ahead in life and closer to your goals, your targets, the things that you wake up and you work so hard for. Quick announcement, 10X GrowthCon is right around the corner. We got a ridiculous lineup. We still have a few more announcements to make with regard to speakers, but you do not want to miss this event. If you're a student, go to 10xgrowthcon.com/student. We have a special offer for students to get there. We want you to come. This is probably going to be 3 days that'll teach you more than 3 years in college will. So make the trip, make the investment. I promise you it'll be the best thing you can do, covering literally like business, sales and marketing, entrepreneurship, personal finances, investing, and how to get more out of life. It's going to be an unbelievable 3-day event. We want you there. 10xgrowthcon.com/students. If you're not a student, we still have great deals if you go to 10xgrowthcon.com. Check it out. Also, if you're a hero, if you're a military, police, fire, nurses, teachers, if you are a public servant and a hero, then we also have a deal for you at 10xgrowthcon.com/heroes. We want to cover your ticket is basically what we want to do. Because of what you do for society. So we appreciate that as a show of respect and admiration. We want to give you a free ticket to the GrowthCon, so 10xgrowthcon.com/heroes. Today we are talking about how to be more focused. I'm trying to break it down into 3 simple steps that you can do so that you can be more focused, be more productive, get more done. Step number 1, clearly define your goals, your targets, where you want to go, where you want to end up. Step number 2, you have to be able to identify the things that will distract you. You know better than anybody what will distract you. Like every activity that you do outside of like your hustle, your grind, your office, your work, like whatever you do, like everything outside of that, you got to have your eyes wide open looking for the things that will come to distract you. because they are like they're snares that are just they're designed to stop you from getting where you want to go. And if you look at people that throughout life, like they live their life a certain way, and then they're 50 or they're 60 and they're looking back going, man, what could I have done differently? Guarantee you they had distractions that came in along the way that derailed them. Got to identify these problems, these things that can come up. The bars, the girls, the guys, the vacations, the trips. You know these things, and you've got to identify them, and you've got to eliminate the threat. You have to be like Navy SEAL, knock them out, sniper between the head, bah, off the track, right? Off the road. So number 1, clearly define your goals and targets. Number 2, identify the things that you know are going to stop you, slow you down, and remove them or remove the likelihood of you falling trapped to that. For me, I was smoking weed every day. You know what I had to do? Throw my bag of weed out, throw the little apparatuses out, throw everything out, just get rid of it, get it out of the house. I threw it away and it was done. Like literally in one day. I made the decision, I'm like, I'm done with this, threw all my shit out, and it was gone, and it was done. Like I didn't go back to it. I knew it was the wrong thing to be doing. I knew it wasn't providing me with productivity. I was telling myself, oh yeah, man, you know, it helps you think or work better. It's nothing, dude. It slows you down, and it prevents you from getting where you want to go. So, you know, even though people are legal, you know, anyways, that's a different conversation. So number 3, after we've identified the goals and targets, after we have eliminated the distraction, identified and eliminated the distractions, number 3 is you just have to focus on that next step forward. I was talking to the sales guys in the back this morning, like, you're on a sales call. Like, dude, don't focus about like the entire thing. Focus on like, what is the next step? Like, I've greeted the customer. We're handling objections. We're going through this like battle back and forth right now. Dude, you don't need to be worrying about the close right now. You don't need to be worrying about the demo right now. You need to be worrying about how do I get this guy to ease down and start asking him questions that will draw him into the sales process, or her. So like you just got to focus on that next thing. Don't focus on going from broke to a billionaire. Like, it's a massive freaking target. Like, focus on going from broke to 100 million, or focus on going from a broke to 1 million. Like, I was going from broke to 250,000, and I thought that was like light years away. And then before I knew it, I turned around and I was like, I can't write 250,000 anymore because I'm at 250,000. Actually, I was getting close. I think I did like 190, and I was like, my goal is not high enough. So I set a bigger goal. Started moving towards that goal. When I started getting close, I'm like, it's too small. Set a bigger goal. So like I was moving through a progression, and like it wasn't so much about me hitting the target. I was like working for that. And then once I got there, I was working for the next thing, and then working for the next thing. And you're going to go through seasons in your life. You're going to go through changes. You're going to go through a lot of stuff in your life. But you just need to focus on the next thing in front of you, not the entire thing. And that will keep you moving forward, and it will keep you more focused. Because if you focus on the whole thing, you will get overwhelmed, and that is when you lose focus and get off track. So we got a ton of callers on the line. We're going to go in now. Natalie, who you got?
I got Betsy and Del Rey.
Betsy and Del Rey. Betsy, how are you?
Hi, Jared. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for calling the show.
Okay, so yeah, I'm here from Delray Beach, Florida. I actually live in a property that Grant just purchased called 10X Luxury Living.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm calling in today is because I can totally relate to a lot of what you're talking about, and I've actually tried to email your careers department because I'm really looking for an opportunity to be able to work underneath Grant and his team. But to get a little bit to why I'm calling, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been a business owner for 6.5 years, and the focusing part is something that I struggle with to be able to understand how to scale out my company or how to even expand my company. And I think that I lack in my skill set, even though that I have a very unique skill set, but I do lack in it, and I feel like I'm learning a lot from Grant to be able to understand how to really grow my business. And I've even had an opportunity that has presented itself for me to be able to do that, but I really don't feel like I am skill set enough to be able to bring it on that level.
Yeah, so this is actually great that you have enough awareness to be able to say, I'm lacking in the skill department. Because a big mistake that people make, like a lot of people, they call here and they want to work here, and I'm definitely not saying this is you, but we have a lot of people that reach out and they want to go, hey, I want to join your sales team, and they have zero experience. Like, there is skill that you need to have along the way. And so what Betsy's saying right now is she's like, okay, hey, I've been a business owner for 6 years. I want to grow my business. I have targets for my business, but I realize that the next thing for me to do requires skills that I don't have. So again, like if growing the business to, let's just say $5 million a year is her target, or $1 million a year, what's your target? Where do you want to get to?
I would say $5 million.
Okay, so she wants to get her business to $5 million. That's her target, okay? Now, she's worked her way all the way back down through the people, the product, the processes, all the way down to, like, what is the next thing that I need to do? And she's running into something that she doesn't have enough skill for, at least in her mind. She's got two options. Number one, she can go out and invest in the education to educate herself on how to fix this problem and then move forward. Or number two, she's got to pay somebody to do it for her. Like, we're not talking about 5 million right now. We're talking about how do we take that next step forward? And that next step forward, what's the specific thing that you're talking about, Betsy?
The specific thing that well, when I mentioned that there's an opportunity that presented itself, it really has to do. I'm from the rehab industry here in South Florida.
Okay.
So the opportunity that really presented itself is something that would, if I am able to properly find the correct resources, like you said, either hire the people who can get the job done or educate myself on doing it, I feel like I can become a beast, if you want to call it, in this space. You know, it's a little bit more complicated to get into detail, but your question is where am I currently stuck to move to the next level? I would say is being able to accomplish my goal of where I'm at with my company currently.
Okay, so let's say this: she's got the $5 million target. She's worked her way back down to the thing that is in front of her that she needs to get past, so that she has this big breakthrough and this big opportunity. So now the goal has changed. The goal is not the $5,000 or the $5 million. Now the goal is, how do I get past this next step? So then I would move down one more level and say, what's the block? The block is either going to be, I need to develop the skill or I need to hire somebody to do it. So that's the next goal. Now the block to that could be, I don't have the money to hire somebody, or I don't have the money or the willingness to learn how to develop the skill. Then you got to drop down to the next level and go, okay, well, is that $5 million target that important? Because all you have to do right now is figure out, number one, how to hire somebody, or number two, how to develop the skill. Do you have the money to do either of those?
So one of the money, yes, I do have the money to either hire somebody for my current situation.
Good.
But also my goal is, from when you spoke earlier as to number one, is I would really like the opportunity to work with a mentor that can help guide me hands-on, is what I would really like to know, that I could be successful for what I'm reaching for.
Yeah, so find people in your space. Find people that have blown up. Find successful people in the area. But pay for a coach. Like, we have people that pay, they pay $150,000 to come in and get one-on-one coaching with Grant. So like there are places and people that you can go to that you can pay to get access to. So like if that's the thing you feel is holding you back, then invest in that. But like the next thing that you have to confront is like, I've got to take a step. Like, you have to do something. Like, doing something is better than doing nothing, even if it's the wrong thing. And so, like, you're at this point now where you're like, okay, well, how long am I going to stay here and not move forward before I make a decision. Because what happens there is you start getting lost in the focus because maybe you're afraid of making the wrong decision. I don't know. But you need to start walking down one path. You know, it says in the Bible, like, stand at the door and knock. You know, he's knocking, he's waiting. But you got to do something. You got to open the door. There has to be something that you do. Like the action is the thing that will get you where you want to go. Like, you can come up with a lot of excuses and a lot of reasons, or you can just take a step forward, even if it could be the wrong one. So I hope that helped, Betsy. Thanks for the call in. Thanks for living at 10X Living, and thanks for listening to the podcast. Next caller.
I got Musa in Delaware.
Musa.
Hey, how you doing?
What's happening, man?
Doing,
Thanks for listening to the show.
Man, I'm glad to call in. Delaware, calling from Delaware. Just a little background. I'm an immigrant from Pakistan. I moved here about 5 years ago. Moved to America with a dream, and I'm excited to talk to you.
Good to have you, man. What's your question?
Yeah, so one quick question, of course. Now, I do understand that you talked about three things, you know, identifying your goals. You also have to identify your distractions. But, like, one thing, you know, that I would actually personally faced is creating focus, of course. You know, there's fear of things that actually personally distracts me as well.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome fear? I know action cures fear, but at the same point, even if you're taking action, it diminishes your confidence. So I just want to make sure, you know, if you could talk about that a little bit.
I honestly, I almost did this show on the show today on, like, the mental tricks that you can play with yourself to get through some of these things. Like, one thing that really helped is, like, Grant has a program. It's called The Rules of Success. And there's a chapter in there called Go for Failure. And I remember when I was super frustrated because I wasn't making progress, I wasn't getting anywhere, like, I wasn't winning. Like, you can only go so long not winning and getting beat up before you're like, okay, I tap out, I'm good, like, move on. But if you're able to actually flip this and make failure the target, like, to see how many times you can get hung up on, to see how many times you can jump into the ring and, like, make it a game, it can be one of the most empowering things that you do. Because it takes something that hasn't, like literally, there's nothing that happens. Like I'd tell the guys on the phone, I'm like, hey, look, like, what's the worst thing that can happen on a phone call? Somebody can hang up on you. Like, that's literally the worst thing that can happen. That's it. You make a phone call, you try to sell them something, they say no, maybe they cuss at you, whatever, and then you hang up the phone. Like, my arms still work, my face, there's no black eyes, bloody lips, like, none of that. So you just got to get past this, man. Like, you just got to make failure the target. Like, if you're scared of making the call, let's just say, or you're scared of showing up to see somebody, like, make the goal to fail so miserably and bad that it, like, you just laugh. Like, dude, you have to change the way you're thinking about it, because there can be no massive success without failure. Like, you've got to go through failure to get to success. And you're going to run into failure over and over and over again like a wall. But you got to show up and you got to keep running. Because one of those times you're going to run into that wall and the wall's going to freaking bust wide open, and then you will be successful. And the problem that people make is they don't keep pushing long enough and hard enough for the wall to open up and for them to actually get where they want. I could have quit 3 or 4 times when I came to work for Grant. I could have quit. I could have turned around. And you know what would have happened? I would have turned around and I would have quit, and I would have been like, that hustle stuff, that grind stuff, that go all in stuff, it doesn't work. And it would have changed the way I live the rest of my life. If I would have given up early. But I didn't. I kept showing up. I kept pushing. I kept dealing with the fear. I kept dealing with the rejection. And it does go away over time. I still get nervous today. I still get fearful today when I'm going into, like, bigger deals. Like, it still happens, but I do it. You know, I've developed a muscle. It does not come natural to anybody. Like, you've got the flight or flight instinct in you, right? Like you either get into a situation and you run away, or you bone up and you just freaking go crazy. Like it's not in everybody to like lean in and get super aggressive and handle a situation like that. So you just got to do it over and over and over again. Make failure the target. Make rejection the target. Dude, like make a game out of it. That's the best advice that I can give you, because if you can get past that imagine if you could pick up the phone and call anybody and not have an emotional reaction to it. Imagine if you could walk into and cold call anybody and not have an emotional reaction to it. Imagine if somebody could tell you no over and over and over again and you didn't have that like emotional reaction to it. Imagine what you could do and what you could accomplish and what you could think and what you think you could accomplish. That's how important it is to get past that, because it will literally stop you from doing extraordinary things in your life. So I hope that helped, Musa. I appreciate you calling into the show, following. Appreciate you coming from Pakistan, looking for something better, and I'm sure you're going to be successful. So let's go to another caller. Trenton in Texas. What's happening?
Hey, Jared. Hey, let's skip all the generalities. I know you're busy.
Let's go.
Real quick for you, man. I've got a question about being focused. I'm in a job right now. It's a startup, and I'm having a problem staying focused because I don't think the commission. I don't like the commission. So what I brought to the decision makers, I said, look, if I bring in bigger deals, I feel like I should be compensated more. If I don't like the commission because it's at a certain amount, I want to make a higher commission. So I said, look, I'll get more revenue or gross on the deal. I just want a bigger piece of that pie. So how would you recommend me either dealing with that or staying focused?
Yeah, so I'll just tell you, don't handle that situation by the size of the deal. Handle that situation by the total business that you bring in. It's a better way to position it for your boss or the owner. Like if you bring in one big deal, like big freaking deal. If you bring in a lot of deals, that means something to me. Because you could bring in $1 million deal and then go blank for 2 months. Like that doesn't help me. But if you did $5 million in business, maybe I add a kicker in there for you. You know? So you say, hey, the average rep brings in $300,000 a month or $1 million a month. Let's just say it's $1 million a month. The average rep brings $1 million a month in. When I get to 20 million, I want you to go retro back from 10% to 15%. But I'm going to bring in double what every other rep does. That's a better way to present it than, hey, I'm going to go in and bring a big deal and I want a bigger piece of that one deal.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you like that answer or no? You don't like that answer, do you?
I just want to look at it because there's a certain cost in the deal. I don't need to tell you all that, but no, I think. Look, you're the genius here, not me. So I think I just
whoa. The genius, you use that loosely, dude. Like I'm just telling you, like, dude, I got a sales team. Like we make decisions about compensation plans. Like if somebody came to me and said, hey, I want to get paid more on this one deal because it's a bigger deal. Like without a second's hesitation, I would say no. Like without a second. But if they said, hey, look, the average rep does $4 million a year, or your top guys do $4 million a year, I'm going to do 10, and when I do 10, I want you to go retro back and pay me this percentage, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's roll. Because it can't just be good for you. Like it's got to be good for me. Like if it's good for me as the owner, then I'm going to make it good for you. But if it's only good for you, dude, why? So why am I going to pay you more on one deal? So I would say, hey, look, what do people do? How much above and beyond that bar can I go? And then what will you compensate me for if I hit this target? So I hope that helps. It didn't sound like you were excited about it, but you know, it's the way to get them to say yes.
Okay. Well, if you say so, then yeah, then that excites the hell out of me.
Yeah. All right, bro. I appreciate you calling in, man. How many more we got? 2 more? All right. Who we got? Andy from LA.
Hey, Jared, thanks for taking my call. I have 2 questions for you, man.
Love it, man. Let's roll.
Awesome. So if the first question is, if you're a novice in your space, and I know that during cold calling, Grant mentioned that you have to have your big claim. So if you're a novice in your space, how do you kind of come up with that big claim, because you don't have like a case study for your first client? So I was wondering how you would get over that hurdle.
So you have a company that you've started and you're trying to grow your business, but you don't have any clients that you've worked with yet to have a big success with, to share with people, correct?
Exactly.
What do you do for work?
I do dental social media marketing for dentists.
Yeah, dude, I'd do it for free for somebody.
Okay, and that was my second question, was thoughts on like free trial.
Yeah, dude, like there are things when you're building a business, you have to do things differently than when your business is rolling. Like a company trying to go after a deal, like if we were a company, like when we were just getting started, let's say, and a big, massive whale deal came in and they said, you know, hey, we're willing to do business with you, but we need you to build a spec project out for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, absolutely free. At that point, the deal's so big and we need it so bad that we're going to be like, we're going to do whatever it takes to get the deal. I'll fly out, I'll do that. Like even in our business today, we still do some stuff like that, but they're just big monster deals. Like I'm working a deal right now where the expectation was, hey, you're going to do work, you're going to do some of this work for free. And I'm like, okay, like we're totally willing to invest in getting a big deal done with you. But like we're also in a position now where this isn't the first time we've done this. We've got a track record. We have a reputation. Like at least I need my minimum costs of doing this built or covered or whatever, so that like we're not just going in the hole, because we're already investing in the deal. We're already, you know, cutting you guys back on what it's going to cost. So like your mode of operation just changes. Like I don't know how else to say it, but like get wins. Like the biggest success stories that you can have are going to open doors for you, and it'll give you confidence. Like if you start a social media marketing agency and you're just saying, hey, yeah, I can do your business for you, and they're like, well, what have you done for somebody else? They're going to be like, well, I've done nothing. I don't have a track record. Okay, well, we're going to pass. So I would just say, maybe you do something like this. Maybe instead of just going and doing work for free for somebody, maybe you just have them pay for performance. Maybe you go and say, hey, look, the way I run my agency is you only pay when what I do makes you money. My fee is X, but if I don't deliver on X, Y, and Z, then you don't pay me. And then that way it's not just free, it's free up front, but they pay for the result.
Okay. And I also just wanted to ask you one quick thing. I noticed that some clients kind of get skeptical when it's like, when I mention upfront that it's free at no cost, and they're like, we're not interested. And when I ask them kind of get past that objection, they're like, oh yeah, nothing's really ever for free. Like, what are some reasons that some clients, they get skeptical about the fact that it's not like I ask for their credit card information. So why do people kind of get skeptical about offering free services?
Yeah, because it's the truth. Like, it's the truth. Like, nothing's ever free, because it's not. So you've got to confront that. Like, you've got to say, hey, look, I've got a social media marketing agency. The way that we work our company is we do the work for free, and you only pay us when it works. I know that sounds crazy. I know that you probably can't understand why we do it, but the way that I've structured my business is I've structured it in a way that when you win, I win, because I don't think you should pay me if I don't make an impact in your business. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Now, later down the road, that's going to change. Like, I would not use that pitch for a long time. Use that pitch for as long as you need to get some deals on the board, to get some wins on the board, to get some momentum, and then start getting referrals. And then start working the business.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much, man.
You got it, bro. Final caller. Who we got? Nate in North Carolina. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, Jared? It's actually Matt Dempsey. How you doing?
Oh, Matt. Okay, thanks, Natalie, for that one. Matt, where you calling from?
I'm calling from Cary, North Carolina.
Okay, so you're in North Carolina. Right on. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I love the show, Grant, by the way. Jared, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. Jared,
my question for you is, I know you're talking about being focused. That's your main topic today. And what do you recommend for people that have like multiple goals, like making lots of money, on working on their body, getting fit like Mark Wahlberg, having a good social life? What do you recommend for people to excel in all areas and not just one focus, but they want to excel in all of them at one time?
Yeah, so I think what you need to identify for yourself is what you're capable of managing on your plate. Like, I know that the more I do, the more I can do. Like I remember like having like a workload and then being like, man, I don't know if I can get anything else done, and something else comes in, and next thing I know, like, I'm like, man, I can get so much more done. I can be so much more productive. So I think for you need to either, number one, build your day in a way that allows you to touch all of those things. Like, just because I want to hustle and I want to make money, that doesn't mean that like I'm going to eat like shit and not go to the gym. Like it can all be one thing. What I'm really talking about is like, let's say that you want to be more successful and you have a business. And you need to become a better salesperson. You need to become a better marketer. You need to become a better operator. You need to become a better recruiter. You need to become a better whatever. Like, don't fix all those things at the same time. You need to figure out the balance of like, how much can I do and still be effective? For most people, when they get too many things that they're trying to improve or fix at one time, then they don't do, they call it a jack of all trades, master of none. Or somebody who gets too much stuff going on their plate that they don't do anything really well. So the whole point is that you're able to say, okay, like, if I want to make bank and I want to, be successful, and I know where I want to go and I have my target, like, how many different things do I need to become great at in order to do that? Now, if you need to become a master online marketer and a master phone salesperson, and you need to become a strategist, a business strategist, and you, like, don't do all of those things at once. Focus on the sales thing and go deep on that, go hard on that until you're good with it. Then when you're good on that, then move to the marketing piece and go all in on that until you're good at that. And then go all in on the strategy piece. Like, and then so it's like you have to, like, whenever you go all in one area, like, you need to make sure that your actions like penetrate so that something happens. Because if your actions aren't like penetrating, then you're not going to get the result that you're looking for. You're going to have like a touch over here, a touch over there, some of this over here, and then you're going to start losing focus, and you're going to start getting like eyeballs bouncing around in your head going, what am I doing?
What do you mean by penetrating action? Like, just like hardcore, nonstop action, right?
No, dude, I'm just saying, like, if, let's say I want to get paid, right? I'm making 25 grand a year. I'm in a sales job, and I'll just say, how about this? I'm making $2,500 a month, and I work in a sales job where I have uncapped earning potential. This is my situation. This is where I was, okay? So for me, I come in and I go, man, I do not really know a whole lot about sales at all. And I don't know a whole lot about marketing and branding myself. And I don't know a whole lot about how to run a business. The truth is, at that time, I didn't really need to know how to run a business, and I didn't really need to know how to market and brand myself. I needed to learn how to get great on a phone call so that I could get a paycheck. Like, that was my immediate step in front of me. Get a paycheck. Like, you're broke. Like, you need to sell something so you can get a paycheck. So, like, in addition to that, I knew that if I wanted to be productive, that I needed to exercise. So I worked in time to exercise, right? Like that didn't require, it didn't take away from me. It wasn't a distraction. It actually supported me. I didn't have to think about it. I wasn't like spending all day going, how do I create this exercise routine that gets me shredded like Mark Wahlberg? For me, it was a supporting thing for the primary focus. So I went all in on the sales thing. For probably like 2 years, I was like literally consuming, like going through Cardone University over and over and over and over and over again. Like I was like voracious with it, like all in. And then once I started developing the sales thing, then I was like, okay, I still kept that going, but I was like, man, now I need to start thinking about like marketing and branding and like content, and like I need to start doing. So, I mean, I was in on the sales thing for 2 years before I probably before I switched focus. And I didn't even switch focus. I just was like, okay, this is going. Now let me just start dabbling over here and bringing something new in, and then gradually more and more and more of it until the sales thing is stabilized. Like I know this now. I know how to make a call, agree with people, handle objections, qualify, fact find, move somebody into a presentation, show them the right things based on what the answers to my qualifications are, ask them for the business over and over and over again till I get the deal, or not, then follow up over and over and over again, be creative, ask for referrals. Like once I got that down and I was like, okay, it's become a part of me. Now I need to figure out how to like do the other things. So again, like when you have those like big skill sets that you're looking to improve, if you disperse your action between all of them, then it's going to be a long runway. Go all in on one thing until you have that, and then add the next thing, and then add the next thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's very good. I like how you said, the more I do, the more I can do, you know? I love that.
Yep, totally.
And
cool, man.
Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in. All right, so that's it. Like 3 steps. It can seem oversimplified, but it really is this easy. If you want to be more focused, number 1, you have to have something to be focused on. You got to know what your goal is. You got to know what your target is. You got to know where you want to go. Number 2, you have to be able to identify the things that will stop you from getting there. What are your weaknesses? What are those things like? Are you, if you want to be healthy, like, is your weakness macaroni and cheese? Stay away from the mac and cheese. Right? Eliminate the distraction. Don't put that blue box in your cupboard. Right? You know what I'm talking about, you mac and cheese people, crafting the blue box. Get the distractions. Identify what they are and remove them. Eliminate them. It won't happen overnight. It's a discipline. It's a muscle. But it develops over time. You just got to stay committed to it. And then number 3, don't focus on the entire journey. You'll get overwhelmed. You'll think it's too far away. You're going to go through all this like mental stuff of like, oh my gosh, I'm so far away. I'm not making progress. I'm not getting anywhere. It's not worth it. I quit. Focus on the next thing. Is the next step forward you take getting you closer to the goal, or is it taking you further away? Is it taking you to a distraction that you will indulge on? Or is it taking you to a distraction that you can easily move out of the way? Those are the decisions you have to make. And you've got to be aware of it. If you're not aware of this, if you are not aware of the things that are happening when you wake up every day and when you go through your day, you will have no control. You have to be aware. Like you can't go through life haphazard and think it's going to turn out great. The success of your life will be dependent on the choices and the decisions that you make from the time that you wake up in the morning until the time you go to bed at night. And the best part is you are 100% in control of that. So make the choice, stay focused, get a goal so big that the focus part is easy. And if you have the right goal, that'll happen for you. Thanks so much for showing up this week. Thanks for listening to the show. Get your ticket to GrowthCon, 10xgrowthcon.com. All-star lineup, A-list celebs, the biggest business minds and entrepreneurs literally in the world. This is going to be the biggest event on the planet when it comes to business and entrepreneurship. Come to get connected, come to network, come to learn, come to grow, come to get one step closer towards your goals and dreams. And remember, the only people who condemn the hustle are the ones who've already given up on the hustle themselves. We'll see you next week.
always replaced by anything just above that. So give up on the average thing, man. It don't work.